Hello YouTube and welcome to another exciting episode of Slotted In There. And in this episode, well, recently we've been looking at all of the guys, we're looking at our gaming histories to bring to you and show us how we got into gaming and where we sort of started and how we got our influences and what games we like now because of it. And my journey started with the ZX Spectrum, okay, bit of a spoiler for that video, but anyway, while I was looking into it, I realised I'd done a video about this, about all the games I really enjoyed about it on my Spectrum memories growing up. I did it for my other channel, not a lot of people watched it, but I thought it'd be a good little bit of content to throw back out there for you guys to watch on this channel now, see if it gets a bit more love. So grab yourself a brew as I bring some retro gaming to you as Slotted In There presents My Spectrum Memories. So the first game that I'm going to show you is called Quackers, and it's not a very hard game. It's basically you're at a fun fair, sort of like a shooting range, isn't it? At a fun fair, and you've got to shoot all the animals and everything in a certain time limit. You've got 3 lives. Your score also goes up, but there is a time bar that's going down that you've got to shoot them all in. And they're a bit tricky, the top ones, because they hide behind a wall, and they're always the ones the hardest to get. And I remember this game took me ages to do. Obviously because I was quite young, probably about 5 or 6 when I was sort of playing it to begin with. And yeah, I just couldn't do it for ages and ages. But I was absolutely amazed. Honestly, I could just lose at this so many times and just not clear a screen at all with my 3 lives. But it was really cool. I really enjoyed it, like I say. I don't know why, because it's quite basic now. But when you're a kid, I suppose you really enjoy playing it. And like I say, we played it loads of times, and then when we finally actually gets to the screen, like say with the turtle, and you shoot it and it goes back and forth, I used to be really good at it, shooting this turtle that comes along, shoot him, hold him up, shoot him again, and he goes faster and faster across. But yeah, and that's pretty much the game. I've shown you the whole game in the first couple of minutes, but I remember, yeah, I spent many an hour trying to do this game as we went along. So in a similar sort of vein is The Birds and the Bees, in the sense of it's actually a fairly simple game, but a bit harder than Quackers to begin with. The premise of the game is you're a honeybee, you've got to go from your house, and you've got to go to the plant and collect all the nectar to take it back to your, well, the hive or the house, whatever you want to call it. And yes, this was quite actually difficult. Harder than it sounds, because there's loads of birds that fly about and can eat you or crash into you like they're eating you. But it's quite good as well, because you can fly along really quick, but actually when you start picking up nectar, you end up going really slow because you've obviously fuller and all that lot. So it's quite a clever mechanic. So actually when you're trying to go back to your little house, the bee house, it's quite hard to fly and steer, and they always end up throwing lots of birds at you then to eat you. So actually, even though it looks quite simple, it was a bit tricky, and again, it's one of them that I spent ages on and got nowhere with it really until it sort of clicked. I mean, there was a sort of point with most of these games when I started getting into a bit more when I was older and could actually play them a bit better. I got quite far, but now if I'm playing it, you can do it fairly quickly, but the birds are still quite tricky sometimes and can kill you. Now we start getting some classic game here with Horace Goes Skiing, and I know a lot of people have played this game. It's a sort of classic one that quite a lot of people had. There was a few Horace games, but I've only played Horace Goes Skiing because it's the one we had. And I found it very frustrating, Horace Goes Skiing, because it's a bit like a Frogger game at the start where you've got to try and cross the road to pick up your skis and get back so you go to the ski slope. But the amount of time, it was so frustrating to do it that you'd try and cross the road and just die, and constantly die until it was game over. And you're just a bit like, I'm trying to do skiing, it's a game about skiing, but all I'm doing at the moment is crossing a road and not actually getting to do any skiing. And that went on for ages, and it got so frustrating then that by the 20th time you actually managed to cross the road, not get hit by traffic, and you went skiing, you just crashed straight away on your skis. So you're like, it was a very frustrating game. But sometimes you can just do it straight away, cross the road, get your skis and go skiing and have a jolly good time skiing down the slope. And obviously you've got to look out for trees when you're going skiing. and ideally follow the tracks going through in between the flags like you're supposed to when you go skiing. And yeah, you just carried on doing that, and once you'd done that, you went back and you hired your skis again, and you went down ski slope again until you got a higher score. But basically, yeah, once you ran out of money, you died. So each time you crashed, you lost some money because you broke your skis. And again, when you got run over, you lost some money because you broke your skis or you hurt yourself. And that was sort of a game. So it's a pretty basic game. I think generally it's supposed to be a rip-off of Frogger, is how they actually made it. So that's why you do the lovely bit going across the road. And I don't know why they added the skiing bit in it all, apart from an extra. Just a reason why you have to cross the road. But the skiing bit's actually the best part, surprisingly, in Horace Coast skiing. But yeah, it's a sort of weird classic game that, again, there's not a lot to it. But actually, it's very frustrating, like I say, if you can't cross that road to get your skis. Now, another basic game. I don't know where I got all these games from. They just turned up. My dad had obviously got them. Don't know if he got them as a big bundle or he just bought these games every so often. Was Pitman 7. And again, this was a really, really rock hard solid game. It felt like when you were young. You just kept dying at it all the time and hearing that death music when you died. One of your miners died. But basically, you've got to get all 7 pitmen out alive. And in the first level, there's loads of different boulders that come down at you. And you've got to try and avoid them and get all your men out alive. And it's quite hard to sort of action as well. The boulders go really quick, and it's quite hard to get up the ladders. So you'd always be stuck going, oh, I can't get up the ladder and get hit, or your head would poke out the top, because it's really hard to just sort of wait at the top of the ladder till the boulder goes past, so you die. So there are frustrating ways to do it. And yes, I just hear that death music all the time, that man always dies. So it was really hard to actually get 7 across. So much so, the idea is you've got gas suits, because on the second level, the sort of caves are full of gas. So you need to actually think on the first level here, while avoiding the rocks, to go and get some gas suits and take them down and hang them down on the lower levels, so you can start getting your men up on the second level. But you never did that, because you were just so excited by the end of it. Can I get all 7 up to the top? And then, of course, you just got, well, you couldn't do level 2 because you're like, I've got no gas suit, so I'm literally going to die straight away and leave all my men dead. So it was a bit of a weird game, but it's quite quirky in its little sense. And I like the way it does, actually, if you think about it, it has that added bonus of in the first level, you've got to think about moving the suits down lower so you can actually do the second level when it's full of gas. But yeah, I got to a second level, and that was it, because I never moved the gas suits down, and all my men died. So all I ever heard was that death music. I usually got a few out, but never all 7, because I was never very good at it. So we're sort of getting into a top 3 now, top 3 games that I sort of played, and this one's called Hyperaction. And the thing about Hyperaction was it was just when I was sort of really getting into being a bit of a gamer, I was starting to play Master System games over at my friends, and I really wanted to get a Master System or a 16-bit console. And some of my friends obviously then had loads of Spectrum games. Like, I've only got a Spectrum. Like, oh, we can lend you some games. And this is one of the games I actually got given off one of my friends. And I really liked it because I think there's 5 different sort of levels. But there's a bit of skill to it. It's more like a proper little game because you're like, all right, I've got to block off a Pac-Man and collect the little ZX Spectrum sort of signs and get out of a gateway before the time runs out. So rather than little levels go around, I suppose there's multiple levels in the sense I think there's 5 different levels. And obviously there's a lot of skill to it of like blocking them off, and you could trap the little Pac-Man between 2 acorns if you're really good, and that got you extra points. I'm obviously still quite rubbish at it now, but I did get quite good at this one at the time, and that's when it sort of felt more like one of the modern games at the time. It's on a Master System or NES, it had more levels to it. Whereas on other Spectrum games, all I'd sort of seen up to that point was sort of one-level things. If you think back to, Quackers or even the Pitman 7, there's not a lot to it. Even though there's 3 different levels to Pitman 7, it's the same screen except for, a couple of different obstacles. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one and played it to death and got really good at it at the time. But it's a quite important game, I felt that I got given because it really sort of started to get into sort of gaming, or where gaming was going for me to play. Now, the second game that I played to death quite a lot when I started getting into games and understanding them a bit more was called Sheer Panic. And you've got different levels, but essentially it's a one-screen game, and you've got to dig holes and sort of get the creatures to fall into it so you can hit them and destroy them. And it's quite hard because obviously they move about, you don't know where they're going, so you have to sort of make yourself a sort of defensive point to begin with so you don't actually die. But when you sort of get them in a hole, you hit them and you kill them off. And the idea is obviously to not die and to clear all the screen, but sometimes, you know, you're waiting for them to come towards you, so you've got to dig a hole, you've got to fill a hole in so you can move around, and it's sort of, you've got a time limit, you've got so much oxygen, which is your time limit to do it, so you can't just sit in a corner and wait. Some of them would always come over to you and fall in the hole, so that was sort of trick, but then it's like, oh, do I move, do I fill in the hole and move? And that was sort of a skill to it, how you could do it. The greater thing is, as the levels got going on, is you've got different coloured ones, and to kill them, they have to actually fall more than one level. So the red ones just sort of fall one level, and I think it goes to blue then. They've got to fall through 2 levels for you to kill. So then you have to dig out 2 holes, make lots of slots where there's, you know, the greater fall between them, so you can kill those baddies as well. And that's the thing, if they actually fall into the hole, like these red ones fall into the hole, and you don't get to them in time to hit them, they turn into a different colour. So then they're the harder ones to get, and that can just make your life really hard. So that's why it's called Sheer Panic, because you've got to be super quick. So if you dug loads of holes everywhere, sometimes it's a tactic, I'll dig lots of holes everywhere so they get stuck. But obviously if you can't get around in time to hit them, then they turn into the harder ones. You're like, oh no. And basically what happens is, if you've got a huge ladder on the side of the screen, I think the tactic was pretty much to like dig holes all the way down. So you could just knock them all the way straight through straight away. Because when you get to, I think it's white's the bigger colour, you had to knock it like 4 levels down. But I like everything about the game. It's quite frantic, action-paced to do it. There's a bit of strategy to it, and you've got to run away from lots of things. And also, like, just the sounds of it. Just the digging sounds cool, and when you die, the sound. I just really liked it. It was a really cool game. I hated it to start with. It was too hard. But like I say, when I started to get into how to play games a bit older and could understand how games worked, it's one I sort of played to death. And the final game, of course, that I have to talk about is Manic Miner, starring Miner Willy. I mean, it's a brilliant game. I mean, they've designed it that they wanted you. The first level is rock hard because you really wanted to see that great end screen, the Monty Python screen, when you sort of get the boot going on your head and you die. But I mean, it's awesome. I was stuck on the first level for ages. Again, it's one of those games we had kicking about, and both me and my sisters, we'd play it and we'd never really get past the first level. And it was only after a bit, when we sort of mastered the first level, you can sort of start bombing through it quite quickly and go through the other levels fairly quickly after that. And it's really enjoyable. I think there's 20 different levels. I can't say I've ever completed it. I think I might have got to about level 7 or 8. But yeah, it's really funny. Like, this first level is absolutely solid, but you keep going back to it. The music's great. The just general music's awesome. And like I say, when you die, it's great animation there. And it's so frustratingly hard, this game, because when you start dying, you can just die really quickly for no apparent reason, and you could just have a game over so quickly. But yeah, it was not just me. It's a really successful game, as everybody loved it. But it's definitely one of those great little platform games that you want to play, and just totally does the Spectrum for me. This is what the Spectrum's all about, games like this. And there we have it. I hope you enjoyed that little trip down memory lane of my Spectrum memories. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and just write down in the comments down below. Did you have any of these Spectrum games? Did you like some of these games that I've shown you in this video before? Have they interested you, sparked your interest to go and play them yourself? Please do let us know, because it's the interaction between you and us that makes YouTube very special. Until next time though, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.